Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai. KAL HALAL YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM Rakadash. This is another digital epistle to the 12 tribes of Israel. Double honors to the elders and apostles at GMS, and honors on to any of the brothers pushing on the likewise doctrine or believing in this truth and sincerity in any sincere system. Genesis 27:39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of the heaven above. And what is the fatness of the earth? It's the oil, the fatness of the earth, the oil. I'll come back to that.
The NDAA, which often becomes a vehicle for a range of policy initiatives, as it's one of only a few pieces of major legislation that Congress approves each year. The proposal attached to the bill that addresses Nord Stream 2 would impose U.S. sanctions on any companies helping Russia lay the $11 billion pipeline. Nord Stream 2 is a new export gas pipeline running from Russia to Europe across the Baltic Sea. The route covers over 1,200 kilometers. The total capacity of two strings of Nord Stream 2 is 55 billion cubic meters of gas per year. The aggregated design capacity of Nord Stream and Nord Stream 2 is, therefore, 110 billion cubic meters of gas per year. This $10.5 billion project, which runs parallel to the existing Nord Stream pipeline, has been spearheaded by Gazprom and 5 European energy companies and is reportedly nearing completion. It's expected to double Russian gas shipments to the EU's biggest economy, Germany.
144, KAL HALAL YAHAWAH.
Germany is the biggest foreign buyer of Russian gas. In 2018, Germany set a new record for Russian gas purchases at 58.5 billion cubic meters. At present, Germany is Gazprom's largest export market. Gazprom cooperates with German companies along the entire value chain, from gas production in Russia to gas deliveries to end consumers in Germany. The cooperation also covers sports, social, and cultural projects. Russia and Germany are connected by extensive gas transmission routes, Yamal, Europe and Nord Stream. The transnational Yamal, Europe gas pipeline traverses 4 countries, namely Russia, Belarus, Poland, and Germany. Its annual capacity is 32.9 billion cubic meters of gas. The Nord Stream gas pipeline is built across the Baltic Sea. The pipeline delivers Russian gas directly to Europe, bypassing transit countries. Its annual capacity is 55 billion cubic meters of gas. The Nord Stream 2 pipeline will ensure safe and stable supplies of gas to Europe. Washington fears this will give Moscow significant geopolitical leverage over Europe while also punishing Ukraine. Nord Stream 2 began operation in mid-2020. Even with the effective 90-day grace period allowed by the U.S. sanctions, the last 168 kilometers of each of the 2 strings of the pipe may not be laid by the time the punitive measures kick in. It's unlikely that the Swiss-based contractor now working on Nord Stream 2 will defy the U.S. restrictions if it's not done in time. Then, Gazprom will need to use the only pipe-laying vessel it owns, the Akademician Cherski, to finish the job, a slow and iffy scenario, even if Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov says Nord Stream 2 won't be halted. A straight path from Russia to the EU without going through Ukraine or the Baltic republics is a thorn in the eye for the USA and NATO. Any gas flowing through there could be switched.
This revolutionary new device can remove up to 10 times more earwax than a traditional cotton swab.
Switched off by Brennan, Clapper, or some other neocons, to hold half of Europe hostage. How dare Europe to control its own fate? How dare they? The sanctions on Russia have been a total failure from the start. Western globalist financiers oppose Nord Stream. Russian President Vladimir Putin's grand plan of supplying gas both to Europe bypassing Ukraine and to China through the just-opened Power of Siberia pipeline can no longer be scuppered. This is the energy needed by the German economy. As the German economy goes up, it needs a lot of energy. Nuclear and coal power stations are closed, so they have only one reliable source of energy left, gas. No matter how carefully the US sanctions are crafted to spare European allies, Germany is still irritated. On Thursday, German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas tweeted in response to the US measures that the European energy strategy will be decided in Europe, not in the US. We fully reject external interference and extraterritorial sanctions. Theoretically, the European Union could even retaliate by raising duties on American LNG. The American administration is not known for its common sense. They think shipping LNG across a vast ocean and charging 3 times more than pipeline gas from our neighbor will be accepted by Europeans. The US is selling LNG to Europe at a higher price. Congress has embarrassed.
The Nord Stream 2 pipeline and the LNG. This is basically the biggest.
The European energy.
The reason for World War III. These men are greedy. Yeah, the Babylonians are greedy. Especially the United States is greedy. Meddling and keeping all that at home, meddling all these people's affairs. It's like, oh man. Meddling in all these other countries' affairs, meddling in these resources, acting like they're helping them. I know. I can see how America's just bullying them all with their American hegemony and taking advantage of their resources like they're creating sanctions hurting them. And really, man, Europe is good without Russia. I mean, Europe. Let's be honest. Europe is good without America. Let's be honest. America was never there. Russia just really wants to build back its economy. Russia just wants some good money. They really don't need America. Just America's the bully, and they really have more in common with this pipeline.
Strategy will be decided in Europe, not in the US. We fully reject external interference and extraterritorial sanctions. Theoretically, the European Union could even retaliate by raising duties on American LNG. The American administration is not known for its common sense. They think shipping LNG across a vast ocean and charging 3 times more than pipeline gas from our neighbor will be accepted by Europe.
And man, they're saying, "Oh man, we gotta stop Russia. We gotta stop Russia. Russia's being too aggressive, right?" So like, let's stop Russia. They're only really hurting themselves. In the beginning of this, we've seen that China and Russia got their own Bitcoin coming. You push staunch enemies into good friends. All to the non-common sense of America. Man, that's how much Babylon really drinks their orange juice so much. They can just charge them 3 times as much, man. And these countries are still gonna be grateful. Like it's not. It worked. It worked when Yahawashi put the spirit on America at the edge of money, but it's taken off, man. Babylon's
the US is selling LNG to Europe at a higher price. Congress has simply embarrassed themselves once again. The Ruskies are never going to cut off the gas as long as Germany pays, and Germany knows it. Even during the Cold War, the Russians always delivered. That's how reliable they are. Can't say the same about Americans that weaponize everything. I'd say it time to send the troops in Ramstein back home, except, of course, all America would do, stick them in Poland and make things even worse for both Germany and Russia. That's the design. The US is creating chaos and destabilizing countries. Welcome back to the Atlantis Report. You are here for your daily dose of
Jeremiah 50:23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become desolate amongst the nations? And we're watching the hammer of the whole earth that can slam a hammer down and get all these European countries to really fight against their own interests. Slam the hammer down. Man, these people just drinking the Babylon juice, man. They're paying 3 times more for oil. Man, these European countries getting hit by the sanctions as much as Russia, pretty much. Going against Russia when Russia's not only European. I mean, they're European, but really, it's like the way the Edomite narrative, the Babylonian narrative, is to really say, oh, they're physically uh, European, their country is a part of Europe, like physically, but it's really Europe, man. They're culturally European, but they're really Asian. And that's the hammer of the earth, because they're gonna, and then you can see how they're being desolate because they done robbed the country so bad that, yeah, and we use all them, and they had to bring the order out of chaos too, so they can't even build a beautiful nation, man. And they can't even, they're not even investing their resources back into the roads, the cities, the people, the infrastructure. The quality of life of people have gone down terribly in years, man. They just been clicking their heels.
Of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please take a second to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to also hit the notification bell.
The hammer of the whole earth with a hammer. They can come with unrighteous decrees. They'll take advantage of you. They can slap sanctions on you for doing what's best in your interest and the interests of other countries. And rob off, man. Destabilize your country whenever it benefits them. That's the hammer of the earth.
The long-threatened U.S. sanctions against Nord Stream 2, Russia's $10.5 billion natural gas pipeline to Germany, will finally take effect next week, but their timing and design can only slow down the project's now certain completion. Even so, Ukraine, the primary injured party from the new pipeline, is grateful for small favors from Washington. The sanctions, crafted by Senators Ted Cruz, Republican of Texas, and Jeanne Shaheen, a New Hampshire Democrat, have been attached to the 2020 National Defense Appropriations Act, which already has been approved by Congress. The State and Treasury Departments will have 60 days to present to Congress a list of vessels involved in the construction of Nord Stream 2 and another Russian pipeline, Turk Stream, and of people and firms that provided these ships. Those people and entities will have 30 days to wind down their business, or they will be barred from entry to the U.S. and could have their assets frozen. Sanctions are the modern version of laying siege to a country. After World War II, European countries became vassal states to the military-industrial complex and the U.S. banking cabal. They've been on their knees ever since. Maybe their people are tired of living on their knees. For the past couple of decades, Russia has taken steps to isolate itself as much as possible from the US dollar and
How's how is the hammer of the earth of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolate nation now? Desolation among the nations. Isaiah 14:17, that maketh the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, and destroy the cities thereof, that open not the house of prisoners.
the Fed syndicate, which is why the CIA spooks military-industrial complex and bank cabal hate their guts and consider them their enemy. I think many of the vassal states are taking notice. War. Threatening the Nord Stream equals to threatening the
This is the rebirth of the head. This is the birth of the head that was wounded, because now you're making them all vassal states. Revelation 13. And I saw upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon the horns 10 crowns, and upon the heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw unto a leopard, which has his feet of the bear, and his mouth as the mouth of the lion. And the dragon that gave him, and the dragon that gave him his power and the seat and great authority. And the end of the feet is the end. So when the head is the beginning. So the feet of a bear, he's gonna have the ending of a bear. He's gonna have the ending of the spirit of the Persian meat. Of the Persian meat, the spirit of the Persian meat, the Medo-Persian Empire. That you know, today that lot is occupied by the Persians, Iran, and the Medes, the modern day Russians. or they're coming in the spirit of the Medes, even though they're Edomites. As one of the heads, and I saw one of his heads as if it were wounded to death, and the deadly wound was healed, and all of the world wondered after the beast. They worshipped the dragon, which gave the power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, "Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" And that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying with the NATO. That's what they're saying with America. And all these people are vassals. Who can do anything? He made he made our economies desolate. He made our cities desolate. Robbed us, murdered us, and we gotta accept this. You gotta accept that wine that destroys the state of your nation. You don't want to do it. And it was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him for 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Yahawashi Yahawashi, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them dwelling in heaven. Blasphemy Yahweh, who they only call God. Yahweh, he exists. Painting him as living, blasphemed his name, call him God, call him Jesus, call him. I mean, that was a mistake to say they call. I mean, I can't even say that because y'all really believe in God, Jesus are literally one name. Yeah, Yahweh. All the nasty stuff. I don't even like to even see those names. His tabernacle. They put the 1948ers in there and them that dwelling in heaven and the angels, and painting all them angels as white face, Cuban babies. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, man. He was persecuting us. Transatlantic slave trade. That's just such a small part, man. Since they got out the Renaissance, since the start of the Renaissance period, they got back in the power, spit, and hell for us. And to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given to him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. All these different languages, and one thing they got in common, they're being robbed, spoiled, or their life situation being made worse by Babylon. And that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. Those names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the earth. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. That kill with the sword shall be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So them going in Babylon, I mean, they're gonna get nuked, but they're going into captivity. These people might be in space. If you're in the underground bunker in America, you're dead. They're gonna flee to other countries, or they're gonna catch that nuke and they're gonna be reborn. And they're still gonna be slaves. And not only all these other nations that we're talking about, because they're not as bad as Babylon, but they have their own injustices and robbery, and they all have their own injustices that they committed against Yahweh Yahawashi and his people. Revelation 13:11. And I beheld another beast came up out the earth. He had two horns, like a lamb. That's democracy, is two parties. And he spake as a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, causeth the earth and them which dwell in them to worship the first beast, whose wound was healed. And he does great wonders. He makes fire come down from heaven and set of men. It's powerful, man. The Romans, they used some fire with their fire-based artillery. And now look, in modern day Rome, dropping bombs, atomic bombs, whether it's a nuclear bomb. No, they're outclassing nuclear bomb. They're outclassing the ICBM. And he deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had the power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had the power to give life unto the image of the beast, and the image of the beast should both speak, and that cause of many as will not worship the image of the beast shall be killed, man. That's where it's coming from, man. If you're not buying to the so then this new world order to create the new of rebellion. This whole American lifestyle is a rebellion against the Lord. So take it to the next level. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hands or their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, say that he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of man. And the number is six is 600, 6. Man, we're really watching him exercise the power of the first beast, making all these places vassal states. He's making these people pay worship, pay tribute, and he's making them do that again in this new form of this new world order, the order out of KAL, Novus Order Seclorum, I believe. You know? And people already seen them draw nukes, man. They don't know. They're kind of shook, man. And even Russia, man, the Marines, they got the spirit on them, but they still got to move strategically, man. Yeah, move strategically.
The EU energy security. Ukraine could make a lot of money by building new pipes increasing transit, but they have to do what the US tells them to do and have no right now for a pro-Ukrainian position. Only pro-US. Germany, France, and Russia could create an entente that would operate over the heads of the EU countries and replace the US as a rules maker. I think Cole has had this in mind. Combined with China, at least in operational matters. Like evading SWIFT and the dollar monetary economic dog collar. These powers had this in Germany, France, and Russia could create an entente that would operate over the heads of the EU countries and replace the US as a rules maker. I think Cole has had this in mind. Combined with China, at least in operational matters. Like evading SWIFT and the dollar monetary economic dog collar. These powers could make a truly multipolar world. Their combined military and green man capabilities could create an impossible whack-a-mole challenge for a nation already crumbling due to the vast sum spent on defense. Which is in the interest of the vast majority of American people rather than the professionals who run US foreign policy. According to recent surveys, the general population in Germany sees the USA as the most significant foreign threat. A majority
Desolate among nations, man. They know that not drinking that wine of Babylon anymore. They know that America's just not the benevolent gods that just came and blessed the world out of poverty and third worldness.
Germans want good relations with Russia. Especially the industry wants to trade with RU. Everything else is transatlantic propaganda. I suspect every country has had the same sentiment ever since Americans showed they were untrustworthy and unscrupulous. Since 1945 and Bretton Woods, the USA has had a captive audience. That is changing. Exxon and Chevron, and all the rest of the US companies get US military backing to plunder the planet for energy resources, while Russia is a terrorist country, for selling its own natural gas from within its own borders to a willing buyer. The American way. In Bretton Woods, the USA has had a captive audience. That is changing. Exxon and Chevron, and all the rest of the US companies get US military backing to plunder the planet for energy resources, while Russia is a terrorist country, for selling its own natural gas from within its own borders to a willing buyer.
Man, how they murder and they kill, all their lies and deceit, just to rob countries of their oil and resources. The Russians doing it by themselves, man. They ain't robbing nobody. They ain't killing nobody. They ain't fly halfway across the world, for make that sort of a tribe living in living in the forest with just living over natural oil reserves. Yeah. Because the riches got because of unrighteous riches, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. The kingdom is translated from one people to another. Ecclesiastes 10:8. Isaiah 10:6. I will send him against an hypocritical nation and against the people of my wrath. Um, I will give them, I will give him a charge to take spoil, to give him charge to take the spoil, and to take the prey, and to tread them down in the middle of the streets. Shall not all these things take a parable against him, a taunting proverb against him, saying, Woe to him that increaseth, which is not his, how long? And to him that laden himself with thick clay, you know that thick clay is that debt. Shall these not all take up a parable against him? Shall it not be a taunting proverb? Wouldn't if somebody always if someone destroyed what you had and they try to make how do you say this? So someone just destroy what you have, destroy your way of just mess with your finances, limiting your finances, limiting the deals you make, limiting the business transaction you make, stealing more of his portion that he should be. And if he's in your room and he's making fun of you, man, are you not gonna be plotting against this man? Are you not gonna try to come up? You're Jacob. Are you not trying to finesse the situation where you can get back on top? Even if you're angry, man, and you gotta play the low road, you're gonna keep thinking up, man. You might just be angry, man. Might have such a terrible attitude. You might not be able to hold it back until you have a plan. And then when you're acting smiling, when you're acting right, when you might feed into his ego when you have his plan. You're gonna treat him the best way out, man. Is it not gonna become a taunting proverb when the only way they know, no matter what, there's no fair shake? Woe to him that increases that which is not his. No, he messing with he making Russia, making all these European countries pay oil 3 times as much as they would get from Russia. Thinking that they're hurting all Europe, but that benefits America, man. America needs every country to be as weak as infrastructure as America. Uh, Isaiah 13:17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, or as for gold, they shall not delight in it, man. And they're not. And they've been dealing with sanctions for all these years. And the Ukraine Russia sanctions, they've been getting it for a long time. Nothing new. But these people know, man, they cannot delay in the typical gold and silver, according to this world banking system. Man, these countries know, man, if they're locked in, they don't need America. These countries want to last. These countries were built to last. I mean, these countries actually have real heritage. They would like to proceed. China has real, China one of the oldest. German, the identity, the history. Man, these groups of some of these countries have went through multiple races of people, preserving a legacy. Man, from dark skinned Germans, Javites, to Edomites, white Germans, to Jake Germans, the Edomite Germans. You know. Hmm. Hmm. Revelation 17:15. And he saith unto me, the waters which he saw, where the horse sitteth, are many people, multitudes, nations, and tongues. That's America, the waters. Yeah. The waters, the people, on which the horse sitteth, man. On the part of the world where America sitteth, man. Of all the people, man. Of all the tongues and nations. And the 10 horns, which thou sawest unto the beast. These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate, man. So now these people destroy their own economy. They think they got it in control, these enemies, man. Russia, even Europe, they're gonna turn on America, man. They're gonna contribute to where this gets out of control. They shall hate the whore, and they shall make her desolate and naked. They're gonna expose her. They're gonna strip her. And they shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI have put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast until the words are fulfilled.
The American way, established in 1945. Every day. Every topic. Every country. The US cartel wants to know what's in it for them. We're protecting you from your neighbors, now pay up, or you'll never see your family again. Look at it this way. With the US deficit at $1.2 trillion, every cent of the US defense budget is borrowed. It is someone else's money. Every USAF Air Force plane, every
Shall I not take up a parable against him?
nuclear sub, every US Marine, every US Navy ship, every bomb, every US Army vehicle, every
Shall this not take up a parable against him?
gallon of gas the US military consumes, it's all borrowed money. Let me paint you this picture. Nord Stream 2 bypasses Ukraine and its energy company Burisma. Germany buying directly from Gazprom is bad for Burisma. Congress votes bipartisan on sanctions against Nord Stream, which will benefit Burisma. Bidens are deeply involved with Burisma, probably a whole many more Congress critters. Impeachment will go away now that the votes have been bought for sanctions against Nord Stream. It was never about Trump this or Biden, that it was only an open market for votes on this massive spending bill, which includes the sanctions. Mammoth 2020 NDAA of $738 billion. How many career politicians are on the take, now honestly? Give your heads a shake and try and figure this out. See how the cookie crumbles and how deep the rabbit hole goes.
You see how fake this lamb is? We think they're really fighting for their ideals, their left-right paradigm, man. They're all in bed. They're all really best friends, getting in that check, man.
Clinton's never being charged for the apparent fraud and corruption gig they are running with the Clinton Foundation.
Man, how long we call Hillary criminal? If she get locked up? How long we called Trump criminal? Ain't nobody got locked up. Seem like they're all criminals, man. As long as they do the right type of crime, doesn't expose the Hegelian dialect. That really doesn't change anything. They're good, man.
When it comes to business and politics, one crow doesn't peck another crow's eyes. Wake the hell up, people. You've been had. Ham-fisted American administration is so transparently in bed with the petrodollars bankers. They're in every orifice. Even during the coldest days of the Cold War, Europe bought gas from Russia. It was a mutually benefiting cooperation. The Cold War is over, despite NATO trying to reignite it. This new gas relation with Russia is again mutually benefiting both Europe and Russia. The sanctions against Russia are only hurting European businesses. Europe is waking up to the "screw the EU" agenda of America in Europe, and Europe is now saying, F the USA. Brexit is a done deal. The US basically killed the WTO. Europe will definitely move east. I highly doubt that our administration knows the USSR supplied gas to Europe all during the Cold War. There was never a problem. Europe paid for the gas, and Russia delivered without fail. Until the USA started
Even America be getting gas from Europe.
stirring up the mess in Ukraine. The US does not want an independent Europe. The US wants control of its lapdogs. The more the US tries to force and dictate its dominance over others, the faster it will lose the few allies it has left. This push to always choose the path of confrontation is strange and self-defeating. The US sure knows how to make enemies. The US passes sanctions on Nord Stream 2 and has nothing to offer Germany in place of it. Really dumb beyond belief. Germany and Russia will complete the pipeline, and there isn't anything the US can do about it. Expect the US to lose more trade with Germany in return. This was the Atlantis report. Please like, share, leave me a comment, subscribe. And please take some time to subscribe to my backup channels, I do upload videos there too. You'll find the links in the description box. You will also find a PayPal link if you want to make a donation. Thank you wholeheartedly to all those of you who have already donated. Stay safe, sane, and healthy, friends.
KAL HALAL YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. I hope this lesson was edifying. Man. This is fatness, man. Fertile field. The fattest places.
Tonight on Frontline, with Russia in economic crisis and tensions simmering over